Veretski, Veretske, Veretski, depending on which ethnicity that you are, is the name of a mountain pass in the Carpathian Mountains. It was a crossing point by which the Magyars crossed to settle the Austro-Hungarian Empire in 895 AD with Prince Arpad, and they killed a bunch of people. And then also at the base of this, my father was born in a town called Nizhny Veretski, which means upper Veretski. Okay. And so the music of that region, since it's at a borderland, it always has been at some borderland. There are many ethnicities there. But it's the mix of the music of that region is so interesting to us musically. And you know, even though I grew up with two parents from that region, it wasn't interesting to me until I had my own children. But we love that music. It's real raucous fiddle band, some fiddle drum music, cymbalum and fiddle, bass, drum, you know, real pounding stuff. It gets mistaken sometimes for traditional American fiddle. Josh plays a button accordion from 1889.
Which elicits frequent moments of dyspepsia and
I told
sometimes drooling.
No need for accordion jokes. We're among friends here.
Right. Plays a mountain cello around his neck in various tunings and placements of strings, and I play some retuned fiddle stuff. And so, you know, there's some curious things happening on stage just visually for people. And then it's pounding, and sometimes, of course, deeply soulful and slow music. There's variation in it, but it's different yet familiar.
There are certain types of tunes that are similar to other types of tunes, and you can kind of feel where they're going. So even if you don't know it exactly, you can pick it up very quickly. And if you're picking it up inexactly, meaning like not exactly as the other person is playing it, then you've already got the improvisation, and you start picking up each other's tricks and little turns of phrases and ways of dealing with a melody that you kind of think you know where it's going.
Rather than a big form improvisation system like in jazz, where the whole melody is up for grabs. In a lot of folk music, the improvisation is at the theme and variations level, the ornamentation level, and there will be a whole spectrum of how traditional musicians treat it. We in effect, in modern parlance, we're cutting and pasting favorite parts from a traditional vocabulary.
You know, if somebody decides to repeat a section more than it should be repeated, we just follow each other. We've always got an ear on each other. You know, he'll throw out something in the first part of a tune, and then maybe I'll pick it up on the second part of the tune, and maybe at that point he'll have changed it anyway.
We can't edit our recordings. You know, they're really live because, you know, if you go back and say, well, let's take the way we did it the second time, it's completely different. You know, oh, Stu went somewhere else and we love it, so we're just going to take it, you know, hair, bones, and all. This music actually is big fusion music because as those cultures that I mentioned that around the region of the Veretski Pass, you know, it's all of these different peoples were playing music of each other's culture and it was fusing into one. There would be a Macedonian section, there might be a Rebetic part, a Turkish part, and maybe a little bit of a quote from some synagogue liturgy. It becomes its own entity. The DNA changes. It's like, you know, it becomes its own creature, and then that tradition is what our students are learning from. The idea that Stu says is what, when people say, well, what makes this music Jewish if you have all of these different elements? And he says, well, you know, we have made ourselves native speakers. It's our accent. We're playing it with this accent. And, you know, when people say, well, how can I take this tune and make it Jewish? I say, well, you know, you have to understand Yiddish gesture. We're talking about Ashkenazic Jewish, East European. You have to understand a little bit about Yiddish humor, because there's a big shaggy dog story element to Yiddish humor. There's also a certain tenor in the voice of drop-off at the end of a statement. No, comes over into the music.
Right.
So if you talk like this all the time and you try to play pretty Jewish songs, you can't do it. Because
Hungarian, though.
well, Hungarian would be more like this with a flat tone. Don't start with me because I finish with you.